Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon if you are watching overseas, across the pond, and hello if you were watching via replay. It's great to have you here. Thanks so much. I hope you'll grab a mug and join me for a few minutes. Pull up a chair, curl up on the couch. Maybe you're still in bed, or maybe you're out and about. And if you are, throw some headphones on while you're running errands because we're just going to chat for a bit. We're going to catch up, see how things have been in your week. I'm going to share some really great stories, guys. You know, I always try to find the best stories that are going on in our world. So if you're joining me live, make sure to pop in the comments, say good morning, say good afternoon, say hello. Let me know where you're joining from because I want to give you a personal hello and shout out. If you are catching me live for the very first time and you've never caught this broadcast before, welcome. It's an honor to have you here. My name is Ronnie Harden, and I, by trade, I'm an editor. I'm a freelance editor, copywriter. I'm also a writing coach, um, former honors level English teacher in high schools for high school students. Did that for 12 years in the Nashville area. Really enjoyed that. And I love working with people who are learning how to tell their stories in creative ways. And it may not be in a book form, guys. It may just be helping you craft your story better so that when you put it out there, it's your best work, right? So great to see everyone here. I'm going to pop in and say hi to some of the people that are joining. Good morning, my lovely and talented daughter and assistant here on the live stream, Savannah. Good morning, my dear. Kelly popped in to say hello. Yes, watching the funeral for Prince Philip. Yes, I would be doing my broadcast during the live broadcast of Prince Philip's funeral. However, the show must go on and I will be able to watch what's going on. So yes, Prince Philip's funeral is going on right now. So love to all of the royal family, to the Queen. And if you all are watching this, you can pop in and give me some updates so that I know what's going on, right? Hello, Wendy. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you here. Good morning from Fargo. There's my lovely Sherry. How are you doing, my dear? Well, guys, it is a pleasure and an honor to have you here live. Those of you that are joining me and not watching Prince Philip's funeral, appreciate you taking the time to just catch up with me. I do this every Saturday morning from Dallas, Texas, 9 a.m. Central Time, and I love to pop in. So, love to all the folks on Facebook and YouTube who are watching simultaneously. Really appreciate you all being here. What a week it's been, guys. Ooh, shall we just sip and salute? Because today's featured mug is my hashtag am writing mug. It's been a busy week for me. Whew, I mean, when you got multiple clients going on at the same time, it can really be a challenge. But when you are, you know, pitching out bids for bigger jobs, responding to a request for a copy editor to work some part-time hours. There's companies out there and people out there who want someone to tell their stories, and you might be that person. I love doing it, and it allows me the freedom to work from home. When the pandemic hit, it really didn't affect anything for me other than places that I like to go and places I like to shop and travel. Travel has been, my husband Michael and I are still able to travel. We have to do so very carefully. Um, but yeah, it's been a real shift in a lot of ways. And so for a lot of people, um, learning how to work from home, learning how to do things at home and try to keep those stories alive and work and share your content and be creative. It's been challenging these last few, how many now? Almost 18 months. But hopefully you have gotten your vaccine. I encourage you to get your vaccine. I got my vaccine. I've had my first one. I get my second one May 3rd, and I cannot wait because that prepares me to be able to enjoy my summer a little more. being vaccinated, right? So I'm hoping you'll get vaccinated because I have a hug for you. I do. And I'm going to warn everybody right now, look out, because if you see me coming and I know you and I haven't seen you in a while because of the pandemic, get ready. I'm going to be invading your space and hugging you. So just letting you know right now, because after all, I am someone's Lego. You might be the other Lego piece. Just saying. So you just saw your Monday morning AM coffee mug still on the Keurig. It's been that kind of a week. Wow. Wow. Wendy, I'm going to sip and salute you right here, girlfriend. Ooh, salute. Because it has been that kind of week. I agree, Wendy. Let me tell you. I had 2 coffee mugs sitting here on my desk that were starting to grow little science projects, and they were behind. they were behind my dry erase list board that's on my desk. It sits here. I'd set them out of the way so that I wouldn't, knock them over or anything. And then I forgot they were there. So when I was cleaning off my desk, I went, "Oh, looky there, a chemistry project." Oh, you guys, it has been a week, and we've had a lot of stories come up. Remember how I've always said, if you're looking for creative inspiration for any of your own work, whether you're blogging, you're journaling, maybe you're just having to write some things down to have some alone time with the Lord because you just can't even with your week. But we're creating stories, and there's stories going on around us all the time that we can draw inspiration from, that we can pick up little soundtrack clips from, and incorporate those into our world and share our stories, right? So, right. You get your second one on Tuesday. That is great, Janine, and welcome. Good to see you here, my dear. Great to see you here. You get your second one the beginning of May as well. Right. I know, Savannah, because we're doing a family vacation this year to go to the beach together, and we will all be vaccinated. Because last year, when we went on vacation and we all came home from vacation, and I even think about it last time, Savannah, here we were in the airport, love you, hug, hug, hug. We get home, Michael gets COVID. I get COVID a few weeks later. We have to tell all of our kids, everybody who was on the family vacation, hey, we just got COVID, and they had to get tested. I mean, it has been, what a story. And yet, look where we are now. We're now, guys, to have a vaccine developed and ready within a year to put in people's arms, it's pretty incredible. So I'm going to sip and salute the medical community, all of the healthcare workers who are having to still work and treat patients who are battling COVID, the National Guard people in the military who were, I know, administrating our vaccines. I thank you all. I thank you for creating this to help us fight against this. Hopefully more of our fellow citizens will do that. I mean, guys, we did it with mumps. What was it? Rubella, all the shots we had to have as children, right? To keep us from getting those diseases and to keeping the mass population. There's a lot of people on the planet, guys. A lot of people. And the denser the community, the more possibility of transmitting something. So I love you. I don't want you to get you sick, and I don't want you to get sick. So get your vaccine. All right, enough of that. Let's talk about the stories that happened this week, because there were some great ones. Guys, Hideki Matsuyama, a Japanese player. Oops, I'm going to close this real quick because I've got like a bajillion. Are you like me and you have a bajillion browser windows open on your computer? Yeah, when I live stream, I got to watch out for that because it's not good. It takes up bandwidth. All right. Hideki Matsuyama, guys. And in this week of what has been going on with assaults against our Asian American citizens, for Hideki to win the Masters. And it was and I have picked Hideki Matsuyama in past years on my list. It's that saying, the one time I didn't pick him. The one time. I've picked him on other tournaments and other things. But congratulations to Hideki. In Japan, his family was over in Japan watching when he won. But for him to win the Masters is a huge thing. We've had Tiger win the Masters. We've had Hideki Matsuyama winning the Masters. You know, I love seeing an organization like the Masters understanding the importance of and the ability to allow all of these players to come. There are so many young players, golf players that are from Korea, from Japan. They love the sport. They love coming here to play in our tournaments. I think it's a wonderful thing how sports has been able to unite people. So it was wonderful to watch. It was hard to watch because most of the guys I picked on my team for the golf pool that we did, some of them didn't even make the cut, guys. I mean, Dustin Johnson, who won the Masters last year, didn't even make the cut this time, playing this same golf course. You want to know what the challenge of the Masters is? That's it. That's it. A standard of excellence in the golf world. And it's so amazing to see. Browser tabs for days. Oh gosh, I sometimes forget that I have them open. And if you've ever had to restart it and it'll ask you, do you want to open all those tabs you had open? Because that's why you crashed, right? Great to see you here, Juliet. The worst. Oh my gosh, it is the worst. You were you were multiple tabs open, right? Because we got to watch. You know, some of you may have Prince Philip's funeral going on in another tab while you're watching me, and if that is the case, I am honored. I'm honored because the royal family right now needs our love and support. And wished I'd have known. I would have scheduled it for earlier or later. But the show goes on, guys. So there's some other really cool stories that came up this week. I don't know that if you heard about them. They didn't make the national news, kind of like the Derek Chauvin trial. Is that his name? Is it Chauvin? Guys, it's been a week, and all I'm going to say is, can we please stop killing our Black brothers and sisters? Can we just stop? Why? There have been so many mass shootings. My heart hurts and it's heavy, and I am praying every day. I'm wearing God's ear out. I hope you are too. And I hope you are sending love to all of those Black and brown brothers and sisters in your community. I'm a brown sister and I'm in your community, right? You never reopen tabs on restart. Just bless and release. You are blessed and released. Yes. Blessed and released. That is so true. It is sad. And you know what? But guys, here's the thing. We cannot get crippled or paralyzed by this sadness. We can feel it. We can feel it and we can hurt. But we got to do something, guys. When we share our stories, when we engage with each other on social media, when we continue to show the world that there are other people out there who love and support and want to, you know, every blood-bought child of God deserves to be treated as a human being. And so there's a lot that needs to be fixed in our world. And it starts with us. It starts with us. It has been a rough week. It really has, Stephanie, right? And, you know, I can honestly tell you guys that for the first time in my lifetime, and I've lived quite a long time, for the first time in my lifetime, even I have been treated differently by certain people because I'm not white. Simply because of that. And I used to laugh it off and I would make a joke of it because I'm the Hawaiian girl. I'm the brown girl in the room. You know, I'm Polynesian. That kind of gives me an extra, you know, little flair on that. But it's still difficult. For my Black brothers and sisters, it is fearful. It is fearful. And God does not give us a spirit of fear. God doesn't give us a spirit of fear. So where does that fear come from? So let's deal with that today in our lives, with the people we love, with the people that we're in connection with, on our socials, in ways that we can tell our stories, not to offend, not to hurt, not to be mean or vindictive or politicize everything. Love. Sharing our stories in love. That's the important part. So that's why I love getting to come on here and sharing stories with you, fun stories, things that are going on around our world that are super cool, that to me, turn down the dial on all that noise out there. We've been reading in the book club. We've been reading a great book called Soundtracks, and I'm going to be talking about this book a lot. Get a copy. Do you need a copy? Do you need a copy? Get a copy of this book. It helps you turn down the dial on all that noise that can really cripple our minds and hearts and weigh us down with a sadness that then we have to drag ourselves through life. Not the way we were intended to be. We're not wired for that. So that goes on. We are in the world, not of it. Okay? So turn down the dials on that noise. John has written a great book about how exactly to do that. Turn down that overthinking that can cripple you and really stifle the good stories that are out there. So I'm going to share with you some really cool stories this week because there were a lot. You go on with my flair. Listen, it's fun. Not everybody can say they're the Hawaiian girl in the room. And I'm going to be teaching you. You know what? I think it's time for us to do the Hawaiian word of the day. I wish I had a way to do dun, 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 have some Hawaiian music come up when I do this. I'll figure that out later. Savannah, maybe that's something you can help me with. But it is time for our Olelo of the week, and it has to do with some things I'm going to be telling you and some fun things I'm going to be sharing. And I got a whole stack of books right here sitting on my table. I am standing at my desk this time. It's why the camera's wobbling a little bit because I need to stop banging on the table. But I have some fun stuff to share with you guys. All right. So your first thing is going to be your Olelo of the week. Are you ready? Are you ready? Your Hawaiian word this week is mo'olelo. Mo'olelo. What is mo'olelo? I'll tell you. Mo'olelo is stories. It's the Hawaiian word that actually comes from two words. Okay. So mo'olelo, it's the Hawaiian word for stories, for myths, for legends. It's very much the cultural fabric of the Hawaiian people. So the word mo'olelo is a combination of the word mo'o, meaning a series or succession, and olelo, meaning words, right? Because when we say olelo of the week, we're talking about the word, the Hawaiian word of the week. So your Hawaiian word of the week is the word mo'olelo. It stands for stories, myths, legends, traditions. So originally an oral tradition. So in the Hawaiian culture, we did not have written language. So the hula, the meles, the chants that you hear of the Hawaiian people, those are the mo'olelo, the stories that they are sharing with you through dance and through music. So their histories, their laws, their way of life was all recorded in oral traditions. And so mo'olelo can be entertaining, but they also impart lessons of the values, the norms, the traditions, the laws, the deep principles and moral traditions of the Hawaiian people. So when you read and you hear from them, there are several important tales about the Hawaiian stories that give you the history and the legend of the islands. But if you think about what your mo'olelo is, what is your story? And how can you create a great story? Well, I'm going to share some really fun mo'olelo with you today. Okay, so remember that word, mo'olelo, right? Mo'olelo. Guess Savannah can figure it. she's gonna help me with my technical skills. I know she is, or at least she'll help me find how to deal with these technical things. So guys, there was some really great stories and I'm going to share these on my screen. You can find them, but look them up. But here were some fun stories. So if you don't know who Desiree Linden is, you need to know who she is, okay? Because Des Linden did, oh, no, I don't want, sorry for the pop-ups, guys. You know how that is, right? So let me share a little bit of, Des Linden set the 50K world record this week. She averaged 5 minutes and 47 seconds per mile for more than 31 miles. More than 31 miles, guys. A 50K. I do a 5K. That's about all the K that I've got in me. So if you go to Runner's World, You look up this article. I'll be sharing the links in the comment thread here, so don't worry, you'll get it. Those in the VIP group, you'll definitely be hearing about these stories in the newsletter. But she is 37 years old. She finished 31.6 miles, right? You know that a regular marathon is like, what is it, 26.2? You know, when they have like the Boston Marathon, all that. She did 31 miles. She did more than the Boston Marathon. And it was on a deserted bike path outside of Eugene, Oregon. She finished it in under 3 hours, a world record for the distance, more than 7 minutes ahead of the existing record set by the British ultra runner Ali Dixon on September 1st. She averaged 5 minutes and 47 seconds per mile. Guys, I think I walk at like a 12 or 13 minute pace per mile. That's a pretty amazing feat. And you know what? Other than like because you know she's been in like big marathons where there's crowds cheering. You know, now look at her. There she is crossing the finish line. Oh, there were some people there, right? See, she's accustomed to performing in front of large crowds. Boston, New York, the Olympic Games. So she hit it. She ran evenly. I mean, so I'm going to be sharing this article with you. But guys, this woman, she did it. She ran and set the record for a 50K. A 50K. So her name is Desiree Linden. Know her story? I'll be sharing it with you because what a cool story that is, right? I mean, yeah, you can't imagine that. You do your 1 to 2 miles so proud. I do too. And it's either in my neighborhood or on the treadmill at the Y, right? Woo! Guys, we're doing it. But this woman is definitely doing it. Look what she did. So she set a world record. So what an amazing thing, right? What an amazing gift. Because it isn't mine. I will cheer her on gladly because running marathons is not my jam, not my thing at all. But I love seeing people reach their goals, stretch themselves, and get there. We can all do that in our own world. Okay. Now, here's another fun story that, and I saw this and I thought, that's kind of interesting. I had questions, guys. So I want to know if you have questions, right? Because here was a fun story that I found and again, happened this week, right? Fun things are happening around us every single week. So did you see the story on the news? Guys, I got to get this in my staging, so I apologize for the delay. Did you see the news about this? Domino's is launching an autonomous pizza delivery with a self-driving robot car. They tested it out in Houston. Do you have questions? If you have questions, please throw them in the comments because I have questions, right? First of all, what a cute little thing. It's called the Nuro. So here, I'm going to roll down the page so you can see the article. It's a self-driving robot car. There's a startup company called Nuro, and they are launching autonomous pizza delivery service in Houston. Certain customers have the option to get their pizza delivered by the Nuro R2 self-driving delivery vehicle. Now, of course, it's limited in location because, of course, they're testing it out. But customers who opt for robotic delivery will get a text message to track the vehicle and a PIN to retrieve the pizza from its little storage box. So what happens is the pizza, drives up. You've paid for it. It's got a little code, but it said in. Let's see, announced plans for Houston deliveries in June of 2019, a few months after Nuro began handling food deliveries for Kroger grocery stores in the city. And prior to that, Domino's partnered with Ford on a pilot program using the automaker's prototype self-driving cars. How fun. So it was founded by ex-Google self-driving car engineers. How about that? It operates delivery services in Arizona and California. It's one of multiple companies looking to use autonomous vehicle for short delivery runs, which may be a low barrier for technology. How about that? So it says, let's see, With Udell, the startup that's testing self-driving delivery vans in some U.S. cities. Mobileye, which markets its own sensor suite and computer vision software for self-driving cars, plans to launch the service in 2023 and wants to put 35,000 vehicles in operation by 2028. Okay, the fact that we're even talking about those years in real terms, wow. Wow. How old will you be in 7 years? I know how old I'll be. How old will you be in 7 years? That this technology could actually happen, right? You are all for it as long as it gets to me in 30 minutes or less. Right. Now, if they can get it for something other than Domino's, do you have to tip it? Well, I hope you don't tip it, because if you do, then it can't keep driving on its course. But yes, do you have to tip it? Is there any tip involved? Imagine the delivery drivers now who lose a source of income for delivering pizzas. And are these little cars going to actually go into difficult neighborhoods? Because you know that thing's going to get tipped over and robbed or broken. So lots of questions, guys, right? Software is amazing. Yes, it is. The things that it can do. And like I said, guys, the fact that these stories are going on around us right now. These people, as things are going on in the world and getting strange, people are inventing. People are inventing. They're coming up with cute little cars like this and delivery vans. I mean, you know what I think of? I think of the movie, the first Blade Runner, right? Or The Fifth Element, where they have those kinds of cars everywhere. And that might be a reality. Such great stories that help open up our minds to other things that are going on. If you keep up in the social media world at all and you are familiar with the app called Clubhouse, it's an audio version app that is blowing up right now. I had to turn my notifications off because people were pinging me to join conversations. I've been on some amazing conversations with people. Think of it as a real-time live podcast that you participate in. And so it's a really neat tool. Well, and of course, not to be, thank you, Stephanie. Your news only reports on drug busts and traffic fatalities. Well, again, guys, are you seeking out the stories? Because whatever you know how the algorithms work, and they'll bring more of that crap to you. So I spend the week, again, looking for and capturing great stories, fun stories, cool stories, things that are going on in our world. I used to do that when I was in journalism, and we were writing, and we learned about how to find out what's going out there. That's what journalism does. Journalism tells the stories that are going out there in the world that are different and outside of the news, right? And you have to be the one to determine how much of the news that you're going to listen to and accept, especially when it's way up there in the periphery level that we're not operating in right now. And finding all the fun things that are going on. Again, turning down those dials on the noise and replacing them with great soundtracks, great stories, right? You turn those notifications off quickly. Clubhouse is overwhelming. Yes, because Clubhouse is just starting. Remember, Clubhouse has only been in operation, less than a year, right? Less than a year. I think I've been on it since the beginning. My nephew works with the two developers that created Clubhouse. But here's something interesting. So, of course, not to be outdone, right? Not to be outdone. Facebook, because they're not about to let anybody get ahead of them in the world. And so, wouldn't you know, Facebook, this came out this week. So if you're watching the stories that are going on in the world, and I try to watch for things like this, I want to know what's going on in the tech world, and I want to know what's happening. So Facebook is said to be building a product that is going to compete with Clubhouse. Of course they are. In fact, there's a pretty popular morning show on Clubhouse, and Mark Zuckerberg popped in on them. And they were not ready for it all of a sudden, but they had him on. And so Facebook is said to be building a product to compete with Clubhouse. I mean, it has a history of grabbing competitors. So when Instagram hit, what did it do? Well, it acquired Instagram, WhatsApp, other things. So now they're looking at what Clubhouse is doing and they're trying to create their own. So they are building an app. They are looking at different things that are happening right in the world, and they're going to representative for Clubhouse declined to comment. So, but he's not dumb. He knows, he's watching what's going on in the world. And so if there's a product or an app that is popular, a new format, a new way of telling stories and communicating with people, you darn betcha Martin Zuckerberg is going to be all over it, right? So that's what's been going on in the world. That's some other fun stuff that's been going on in the world. I've got some really cool things to talk about, but one I wanted to share with you, kind of a sad story. And I know that we are dealing with Prince Philip's funeral right now, but I don't know how many of you are fans of the show Peaky Blinders. If you are, this story was hard to hear this week because of COVID, Peaky Blinders was stopped. They ended with season 6, and we're hoping and waiting for season 7 to come out. Unfortunately, this actress, Helen McCrory, Aunt Polly, not Aunt Polly. Helen McCrory, Peaky Blinders actress, died at the age of 52 after a long battle with cancer. That was tough. And so now to do the show, unless they were filming scenes with her while season 6 was in wrap and in showing, if they were able to get together and film scenes, otherwise, what's going to happen to Aunt Polly in the series? She was also in Harry Potter. I did not realize that, but she was in Harry Potter. She was also in some Bond films. She has an extensive filmography and of things that she's been in, but loved her character. She was perfect for this role in Peaky Blinders. And that was a sad story that I saw this week, especially when we lose characters in stories that we love. That's a hard one to get over. You love Peaky, but yes, Savannah was the one that turned us on to the show. It's a show set in the early 1900s, England, and studies. It's almost like if you like The Godfather, this is like The Godfather in early, 20th century England. And so it's a great story. And it's based on an actual group called Peaky Blinders that were a very important, almost like gang family in England at the time. And so we just salute also and send off Helen McCrory. It was a sad loss to the Peaky Blinders world and to fans of her work. So we lost a great one, but we appreciate her sharing her stories, her characters with us. So guys, I've got some great things that I want to share with you, some new things about you telling your stories, because there are ways for you to tell your stories. We do this with Instagram they're called Instagram stories. We do them in reels. We do them in live stream format. Some people blog. Some people have websites that they share their content through in membership sites and in Substack subscriptions and Patreon. All of these formats that we have to utilize to share our stories. So important. Yes, she was an amazing actress. And it was hard, cancer, guys. I've battled it. I've come face to face with it, 3 times now in my life. Relentless, but it can be beaten down. So I hate that we lost Helen that early, but It's important that we get our stories out, guys. And you know, I come on here every week and I'm sharing stories and I'm encouraging you to share your stories. It's so important, especially now where there are so many formats that we can utilize. So here's one that I want to share with you that I'm very excited about. It's launching it launched this week. It's kind of still in beta. It is only available in the United States. But if you have an Amazon account, you can create a Kindle account. Let me introduce to you a new way of sharing stories. And I'm excited to share this with you. So just watch this for a second, because I want to show you how awesome this is.
Introducing Kindle Vella, a new way to tell a story to readers in the Kindle mobile app, a new way to earn royalties, and a new way to engage and interact with readers. With Kindle Vella, you can reveal your story one episode at a time. Create a story that hooks readers and keeps them coming back to catch up on the latest plot, twists, and turns. Readers can start any story for free. After that, they purchase tokens and redeem them to unlock additional episodes. Kindle Vella provides authors a new way to earn royalties when readers use tokens to unlock episodes. Kindle Vella makes it easy to find the perfect story. Use tags to help readers quickly find the stories, genres, or microgenres they're interested in. Kindle Vella includes new ways for readers to interact with stories and share feedback with the author and other readers. To make sure they never miss a thing, readers can follow stories they like to be notified whenever a new episode is released. When a reader enjoys an episode, they can give it a thumbs up to let the author and other readers know they liked it. Each week, readers who've unlocked an episode receive a fave that they can grant to the story they enjoyed most. Stories with the most faves will be featured on a leaderboard to celebrate top picks and help others discover these most loved stories. With author notes, you can break the fourth wall and speak directly to your readers. Do you have a story to tell? Start your first story today at kdp.amazon.com/Kindle Vella.
Guys, if there was ever a time to share your stories, Kindle has now launched Kindle Vella. And I'm going to show it to you right here on your screen so that you can see where it is. So important. This is I am super excited about this because serialized writing has been around for years. Treasure Island was written in serialized format. So was Frankenstein. All of these different stories where they were writing chapters and putting them out. You know how soap operas, how our grandmommies and great grandmommies used to come on listening to my stories, right? And it would happen every week. Or every day they would come on and get that next chapter. Well, that's what Kindle is doing with Kindle Vella. So I'm going to show you I'm going to share my screen here so you can see it, because I want you to see where you can find it. Yeah. Is that okay? I'm going to see if I can do it. No. Let's do it this way. There you go. I wish this would go smaller. This one? Nope. This way. All right, guys. So if you go to the Kindle Direct page, right? And you see right here, you have all of your topics, how to create your account, all your tax info. This is for if you want to format your book, if you're going to actually publish a book on KDP. And I'm going to be sharing some things about that in later broadcasts, and hopefully also helping people this summer who are wanting to possibly publish on KDP. But if you look right here, if you want to learn about KDP publishing and what it is, okay, here's KDP, create a book. Kindle Vella is now right under that, okay? Kindle Vella is right here. And so here's the video that I just showed you. It will show you how to start a story, how to publish it, okay? Outlines there's content guidelines. So again, you need to follow. And the fact that people can buy tokens and support you. They can pay you for your writing. You realize. Now, you've got to remember, though, the difference between this and having something on your blog, like a blog, is that Amazon is going to get 50%. Okay. So, and your content is going to be on Kindle. So it says you will earn 50% of what readers spend on the tokens that are used to unlock your story episodes. You will be eligible for a launch bonus based on customer activity and engagement. To make it easy for readers to find the stories they love, the first few episodes of every story are free. The number of tokens needed to unlock an episode is determined by the episode's word count at the rate of 1 token per 100 words. Now, Kindle Vella is currently only available in the United States. Again, it is in beta form. But if you want to learn, so here is a link about the reader experience, okay? So here's what it's going to look like on their phone when they want to look at your stories, how they come up with this, how they get the story to come up on their phone, and then they can unlock more episodes or chapters only if they pay with tokens. And again, so it says we plan to have several bundle options available for readers to purchase on the web and in the Kindle for iOS app. Okay. Here's information about your royalties. So you notice here it says episode purchased with 200 token bundles at 50%. How much you can calculate that you would make. Okay. So again, it's an easy new way that Kindle is hopefully helping people understand how to tell their stories in episodes. Okay. So here it is, right? How to tell your stories in the serialized format. So this is a great way to get started with telling your stories because it allows you to create the content. And also, this might be an interesting way for as your readers engage with you and ask questions, because as it mentioned in the video, viewers are able or readers are able to then directly communicate with you. They might be able to ask you questions about the character. You might be able to crowdsource some really interesting information from your readers. What do you want to hear? What do you want to see? Who do you think is going to win the battle? Do you think she's going to fall for this guy or this guy? Are they going to find out? Who are they going to solve this crime? And you can engage your readers that way in real time. So how fun is that? So Kindle Vella, right? It's a new and interesting way. You write. You also write like that. Yes, Charles Dickens did. He wrote mostly in the episodic way. Right. Isn't that so it's a cool platform. Now, remember that you are only going to be making half of what you publish on there. So if you want to make all the money, start a blog. You can start a blog and you can start writing your episodes on your blog and maybe share them in the Kindle Vella app for that audience, right? To reach those readers, but you want to always draw them back to your website. You want to draw them back to your source because then you capture 100% of that income, especially if you want to actually publish a book. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, I've got a lot of fun things here to share with you because, for example, I've been talking to you about the Soundtracks book and the process that John has to go through to publish this, to write a book proposal to Baker Publishing, who then agrees to publish his book. And he gets the manuscript to them and he works with their team and their people. And he hired a team and they got together and helped him promote the book. Now, interesting enough, because John mostly has shared books in like the business world, right? This one is the #1 book in cognitive. What was I looking at on Amazon? It's really interesting to see the category that John's book landed in. You would think, oh, well, John, it's John Acuff. He's probably in business or in, in the self-help or motivational speaking um, circles. Nope, nope, nope. See, this book is different because what John is talking about here is the science behind why our brain thinks the way it does. So he is. Oh, here it is. I wanted to. I want to actually look it up to see. He is number one in medical cognitive psychology. How about that? John has broken the barriers with this book, not only in the motivational and business and self-help and speaking world, medical cognitive psychology. He's number one in that category on Amazon. How about that? Right? So there are different places that your story might land. You never know. So, for example, one fun book that I got this week, I totally forgot about. I love getting surprised with books. I love when books show up. Michael will be like, "You got a package," and if it's square shaped about this size, it's usually a book. But guys, I got. Oh, You Are Loving Set. Listen, we're having a fun time with it in the book club, guys. We had our first discussion meeting, and it went so well, and I was so excited to see all of the people who were reading it really get engaged. So I'm really excited. Tuesday night, we're going to have our next discussion over chapters 4 through 6, and I'm really excited. So there's still time, guys. If you want to pick up a copy of this book or get the audiobook and join us in our VIP group, I'll be sharing a little bit about that at the end of the broadcast of how you can join. But I got Giada De Laurentiis's new cookbook called Eat Better, Feel Better. And not only did I get her cookbook, but it's signed. I forgot that I watched something with her on, like a cooking thing. And so I have this new cookbook. I love getting new cookbooks. Michael and I are always looking for great ideas for food. Oh, look at that salad, guys, right? So even when you put together a cookbook, imagine you want photos that are going to capture what the recipe looks like. You want your recipe to be there, not stories of, when you went to the store to get. See, I love online recipes and I love that I can access them. I do not love the bajillion pop-ups that happen I always have to go to, click this to go to recipe because there's just too much stuff. This, not like that. I mean, she has recipes, pictures with recipes, ways to make smoothies, some really great smoothie ideas. But this book, it says, Eat Better, Feel Better. My recipes for wellness and healing inside and out. Plus a 21-day meal plan and cleansing 3-day reboot. Guess what I'm doing this summer? Yep, I'm going to be reading Giada's book and checking out her stories and ideas for ways that I can eat better. And Michael and I are always looking for meal plans that we can implement here, especially between the two of us, right? So if you have a story that you want to share, where do you get started and how do you do it? Well, believe it or not, there are books for that. So here are my suggestions. If you want to write a book, you want to get serious about writing your story, or you just want to be a better writer, here are some books that I recommend you have on your bookshelf, okay? This should be right next to your Bible, okay? It's called An Utterly Correct Guide to Clarity and Style by Benjamin Dreyer. He is the lead copy editor for Penguin Random House, and he has put together this and your elements of style. Do I have my elements of style? Yes, of course I do. Of course I do. This, you need to have a copy of. You should have gotten a copy of this while you were in high school. If not, my high school students were required to have it and read it their freshman year and keep it, and they utilized it through college, through writing. If you want to be a better writer, get a copy of this book. Get a copy of this book, because Benjamin Dreyer, this is like a style guide, and he helps you understand why we do what we do in the editing world, why we polish our writing. Why do we, because I had an incident this week, guys. I had someone that wanted to, that possibly thought that I should lower my rates, to devalue my rates for his work. Had a a pitch for a 93,000 word book, which comes out to about 372 pages, and wanted to pay me just slightly above the current minimum wage to work on it. I mean, imagine, how long does it take you to read a 372 page book? Now imagine how long it would take me to then read it critically, looking for and capturing and making sure, and also sourcing formatters, and do it. No, see, no, there's a reason why I do what I do. And so we have style guides like this that help us go through manuscripts with our clients and polish them and improve them and tweak them and make them look and sound better. So if you want to do some of that homework at home yourself, get a copy of this book. It will help you understand correct guidelines to use when you are writing. Very important. And I'll be sharing links to all of these books in the comment thread, and those in the VIP group, you'll be getting this in newsletter form. So, but if you're really thinking about writing and making money, so for example, Kindle Vella is a great way. Will you make royalties and money? Well, yes, it's not going to pay your mortgage, but it's a great way to get started. It's another platform you can utilize to practice your writing, to get better at your writing. If you have an existing blog, set a schedule where you're writing regularly. Even if it's a 300 to 400 word post, you're still writing regularly. And if you were to do that every week, you'd be writing 1,200 to 1,500 words easily. And then you can just increase from there. So it's the consistency and the practice, the discipline to practice being a good writer. Now, if you want to know about the business of being a writer, there's a wonderful book by a woman named Jane Friedman. I consider Jane Friedman a writing and publishing world mentor. She has incredible books. She has a wonderful newsletter, a free newsletter that you can get. She also has a paid version, which I get through subscription. There's just all kinds of interesting information. But she goes over the business of being a writer, if you really want to be a writer. It says, the business of being a writer provides lucid, sage advice on setting realistic goals towards shaping a rewarding career, going well beyond simply achieving publication or getting an agent. At last, a single book to recommend to writers peering into the vast labyrinth of how to become a successful professional writer. So if you've ever thought about it, if you want to get into the industry, or if you want to get into the process of sharing your story, she goes into the first steps, takes you in an overview of understanding the publishing industry, takes you steps on how to get published. There are so many different ways now to get published. The writer as entrepreneur, and how writers make money. And there's all different ways that you can make money. In fact, here are some of the subheadings. Starting a freelance career. I do that now. Freelance editing and related services. I do that now. Teaching and online education. I was a teacher for 12 years. I really, really, really need to sit down and think about putting what I have sitting in a file cabinet over here, 3 drawers, and getting that online for online education. Contests, prizes, grants, fellowships, crowdfunding and donations, memberships, subscriptions, and paywalls, advertising and affiliate income, pursuing a publishing career or corporate media careers. If you want to get into working for a company, helping them publish their content to their customer and client base. Those are all different ways that you can become a successful writer. So, The Business of Being a Writer by Jane Friedman. Check it out. It's really important. And also another book by Jane is a very helpful guide. I suggest this one a lot of times to authors too, is Publishing 101, a full-time author's guide to getting published, marketing and promoting your book, and building a successful career. So these are all helpful tools that we have to help you create your mo'olelo, your stories. So there's all different formats. There's all different ways that you can share your story. I hope that you are curating and creating your story and sharing it on your platforms with folks. You've heard Jane Friedman's great. You've heard her talk a few times at a retreat you go to. Yes. And I've been in I've been to writers' conferences where she has spoken. I've also been in writing workshops with her. She's just a font of information. And I truly love her style and the way that she shares her info. And so that's why I like to share as much as I learn with you. So thanks for being here. I really appreciate you guys joining me here on Saturdays and sharing what's going on in your life and the stories that you have. And I love to share all the fun stories that I find going on in our world and share them with you, just to show you and encourage you that there are great stories being created around us, and we are a part of a greater story. So I hope that this just encourages you to help you find your voice and tell your stories. So if you need any help with those kinds of things, please let me know. I love to help folks tell their stories. I love working with them. I love sharing with them and helping them understand that when you invest in your story and produce your best work, it's amazing the people's lives that you will change. I mean, John is changing lives with this book. I mean, if you follow him on social media, or if you even do hashtag soundtracks book with Jon Acuff on Instagram, and look for his page on Facebook, you will see the stories of people whose lives have been changed. John included stories of other people whose lives were changed when they decided to turn down overthinking in their life and really pursue what it is they love with a passion. So, lots of stories going on around us. I hope you'll get involved in your story this week. Share it with folks. Share what's going on. Share with me. And if you need some help, you want to learn, how do I get better at doing this? Or I want to start a blog, or I have a blog post. Would you take a look at it? Or I've got a draft manuscript. Is this worth publishing? Absolutely. Let me know. I would love to help you. I'm taking clients now. I'm opening up work for June and July. I have a couple of slots open because I've got projects slated right now. But if you need some help, please let me know. I would love to help you publish your work, craft it, tool it, write it, and work with that so you can then share your stories, because it's important. Leave behind something to show that you were here and the mark that you made on the world with the people that you love. Really, really important. And if you ever want to see any of the past broadcasts and you miss them here on Facebook, or it's too hard to find, you can always go to my YouTube channel right here. I would love for you to subscribe. Stephanie is always joining us here on YouTube, so I appreciate you joining and letting folks know that we're live on here. But definitely check out the rest of the broadcast and let me know what you think. So again, let me know how you need help sharing your stories. Create your mo'olelo this week, all right? And we're going to be back here next Saturday. Fun time, guys. It's the Oscars. It's Oscar weekend, and I'm going to be talking about the original stories that then spawned these great films that are being presented for nomination of Best Picture, the Best Actor and Actress roles, the people who are portraying strong characters, and their performances are so strong that we are acknowledging their excellence. So it's Oscars weekend, guys. I'm going to have my ballot ready. I'm going to be sharing about original screenplays and stories, and possibly I might have a really fun interview for us next weekend. I don't know. Fingers crossed. I'm hoping. We'll see. But next weekend, it's Oscar weekend. If you follow the Oscars, if you love watching the movies, documentaries, great documentary films, animated films, the best of the best in this last year, even in the midst of the pandemic. So I hope you'll join me next Saturday. We may have to have some movie popcorn with our coffee. But I hope you'll have some stories for me next week, because I know I'll have some for you. All right, guys, take care. It's been a fantastic morning. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. I'll see you back here next week for more from the editor's desk. Thanks a bunch.